This week on Not Just Another Sex Podcast.
I honestly don't know that many monogamous relationships.
There were.
Yeah,
They're not.
That actually
are monogamous.
This monogamy stuff just doesn't make sense to me. It's never made sense to me.
Yeah. Sometimes this perspective of poly is not about the sharing or any of that. It's not about other people the entire time.
How can I share something that I don't possess?
Hey, sugar. I feel like there are so many different things that I need to learn as an adult. I'm this nasty on a regular day, like on a Tuesday. I am your host, Samia Burton, and don't worry, it's not just another sex podcast. Welcome back to Not Just Another Sex Podcast. My name is Samia, and I am your host, and I am super excited, per usual, because I have a guest with us today. A returning guest now. Look at you like an official podcaster.
It's family, friend.
It's getting real. I have my best friend James on the episode with us today. Say hey to the folks, James.
What up? What up? Glad to be here again. Am I in a good spot? Okay.
It looks great. You look great. The team will let you know if you don't. Anyways, look here. I'm so excited because we have an amazing episode planned out for you today. James is here with us because we put on the What Men Want panel, which we've done the second year in a row, where we, in honor of June being National Men's Health Awareness Month, regardless of when you listen to this, it is an event that we put on every summer to not just talk about men, but talk to them. And James was one of the panelists for that. So if you want to check that out and hear more from him, you can also check out his episodes before. But first things first, let's get into the reviews. Love this podcast. I'm so glad I discovered this podcast. You have the hard, triggering, but necessary conversations, especially the recent Kira J episode. But woo, these conversations are necessary. Thank you for creating and providing a safe place for Black women. Whitney Gianna. P.S. I'm also a graduate of FAMU. All right, Rattler. Thank you so much. If you guys don't know, this is a free show. This is something I pay for out of my pocket to continue giving you the information, the vulnerability, my story to help you to create the life that you want hopefully without making the same mistakes that I have. And so all I ask that you do is review the show, rate it if you love it. If you don't, you can go. But if you love it, tell somebody else. So share it in your group chats, share it in your travel groups, repost the reels, make sure that you're watching the YouTubes, even if you listen to the audio. Lash in there, out there. Even if you're listening to the audio, and make sure that you leave a comment under the YouTube videos as well. So you've been here before. So per usual, we're going to start off with our adult tip of the day. The adult tip of the day is something to just put in your pocket, maybe like 5 minutes to make adulting a little bit easier. I think that a lot of times we forget that we're the grownups in the room now. So we've had different things such as like how to do CPR or how to do, my therapist says, or something like that. So today's adult tip of the day is we need to encourage men to speak up, not man up. I'm not a man, so maybe you can speak to this one, but I thought that was really important, especially as a mother raising a young Black boy, to teach him not to man up, but to speak up. Could you talk to that point for me?
Yeah. I mean, manning up feels like not being present in your own emotions in your own body and just numbing everything, which I think a lot of us, myself included, have gotten. I know how you. Yeah, I get it. Have gotten really good at that, just like numbing everything in attempt to not have to feel all the bad stuff, all the stuff that doesn't feel good, and then eventually realizing, oh, I've also been numbing the emotions I want to feel, like joy and happiness, because I can't feel that either.
So glad you're doing what I want you to do on this show.
I know.
I'm so glad you're doing it.
I know what you're really asking.
Yes, that is the exact point of the adult tip of the day. We curate each show dedicated to the person and the reason that they're there. And I'm really excited and just proud of you and proud to be able to bring you on my show. Like, how I feel about my work and things like that, and for you to be a part of a message that I want to convey, and you being that person, and being able to make an entire episode around the things that I've watched you do, unlearn, relearn, and the happiness that I'm seeing like just come from you because of these changes that we're going to talk about in this episode. So it's beautiful to watch. I'm going to pass this show off to you slowly but surely. Okay? Don't look confused.
I don't think that's what we talked about.
We did. So thank you for the adult tip of the day. We need to encourage men to speak up, not man up. Man up is usually another way of telling someone to shut their emotions down. Man up is usually said when someone is crying or, feeling something strongly. And there is nothing wrong with feeling, but you are responsible for how you respond to it. That's it. But you are totally allowed to feel. I know you guys have probably heard me talk about the live sex art show, the art exhibit with 3 X's that Sexual Essentials puts on every year. Whether you've heard me talk about it on Horrible Decisions podcast, 8 at the Table, or even on my own show interviewing the performers from the years before, well, I just want you to know I've seen the DMs, I've read the emails, and yes, the art exhibit is back. Just like this hair is new, this year is going to be something absolutely different. So from September 15th through the 17th, we are putting on a 3-day intimate experience, okay? August 1st, all of the information around the theme, lights, camera, action, and what that entails and everything that we're going to be doing is going to drop for Patreon members first. The tickets are also going to drop for you all as well. So make sure that you subscribe or either you tap in so that way you can log into that meeting. Now on August 2nd, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, make sure you join me on Sexual Essentials Instagram, where I'll also be giving the exact same information and dropping the tickets there as well. Why is this so important? There are only 150 tickets available this year. It is a very intimate event, and I do believe that, like before, it's going to be the best one yet. So I hope to see you there. Make sure that you tag a friend and let them know. You know that they always say, "Ooh, tell me when you're going back to that. When is that happening again?" Don't be stingy. Share it with a friend, and I'll see you next week. So we'll move into Twitter talk. Our Twitter talk today is about emotional maturity. Twitter talk is just where we kind of like just talk about controversial topics or like dating things or, whatever, just some type of banter, because Twitter is where Black Twitter is a huge thing. I know you're not a huge social media person, but in our world over here, Black Twitter is where all the trends start, all the memes, all the jokes, even if you're not on the internet, they end up making it to you,
I know what Black Twitter is.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
All
I had
right.
Facebook at one point,
That's the last social media you had?
Yeah, but I feel like in my Facebook times, the Black Twitter stuff that really popped, it would come over. So I would get all the good stuff without having like to go through all the...
There's some outlandish stuff that be popping up on Facebook now too. Y'all aunties be acting crazy. But today's Twitter talk is about emotional maturity and the pain that comes with maturing. And I believe that when we're discussing people being emotionally mature, a lot of times we talk about not wanting someone that's emotionally immature. You don't want somebody that's emotionally immature, and we talk about that. One of the things I rarely hear people talk about are the difficulties and how awkward it can be to be emotionally mature or emotionally responsible and be aware of what you're feeling and be accountable of that for yourself without self-sabotaging or you know what I'm saying? Like acting out because of those emotions. But yeah, I'd love for you to talk to that point, Jane. You acting like we ain't on the show. Y'all gotta watch the visuals.
Yes, I can absolutely speak to that. I have done a great job my whole life, as you know, feeling everybody else's feelings, but not being in tune with my own. And it's taken a long time to realize, like, hey, this isn't okay. And the awkwardness of figuring that out and going through the challenges of figuring that out is realizing that the only way it was going to start to happen is if I started to just feel things out for myself, like just sit with my own emotions, and no matter how uncomfortable they are, but just allowing myself to feel to the best of my abilities, and also stop the habit of doing all the things that get me in the way, or that have been in the way of me feeling those feelings. That might have been in sharing energy with a woman that I just really don't even like.
Oh, you said sharing energy.
Yeah, spending time with. I mean, how many men have grown up thinking that the thing you were supposed to do was just share your body with
women?
Yeah, yeah.
You're supposed to get bitches, get
yeah,
money. Fuck bitches, get money.
And that's like, okay, that's a great way to really ignore yourself.
Always be surrounded by other people.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that if you're listening to the show, these are where you kind of take some notes, right? Which is, what are the signs that you might be emotionally immature? And my question is always going to be, whatever feeling you feel, have you also felt it alone? Or was there always someone there? There is nothing wrong with getting the support that you need from others, but do you also know how to give that support to yourself first? And then after you've done that, ask for additional help from your friends or your loved ones or your partner.
It's why I don't like the idea of finding a partner to complete you.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. That's something you have to do for self. So many times in my life that I've wanted a partner to do all the things that I really wanted to do for myself. I want somebody that lives a healthier lifestyle, that eats better, that has better habits, that reads more often. Oh no, I can't find the person that does all those things. I have to be the person that does all those things.
Yeah. And honestly, this is why we need to be more accountable and responsible for looking in the mirror when relationships don't work out. Not about it being right or wrong. I'm not talking about the right or wrong part. I'm talking about the accountability. What role did you play? Because at the end of the day, everything that you draw in is a reflection of you. Because at the end of the day, if you're looking for a healthy person, why would a healthy person be looking to date an unhealthy person? So when you're starting with yourself first, you're pulling in that energy. If you start dating another healthy person, it's because they thought you were, whatever you're doing makes them think that you're also healthy too. So if you're constantly complaining that, like, oh, the people that I'm dating are emotionally immature, or, oh, I can't find the right partner, or whatever, maybe because you're not those things. Like, everything can't go wrong. Like, so,
so if we say that in a practical sense, like, don't do those things, I think we should also think about, okay, how do you create those habits for yourself? To, I guess, what do you do to create new habits and stop habits that you don't want to do any longer?
I think this is where we talk about the pain of being emotionally mature. For me, I had a really stressful week. It took a lot of energy for me not to snap, for me not to go off on someone else, for me to not redirect that energy or pick a fight with someone else, or, you know what I'm saying, not be kind, simply because, and not simply as if what's going on in my life wasn't big, but not forcing that on other people. It looks like telling my loved ones what's going on, not asking them to fix it, but saying, hey, I just want to let you know I'm having a really hard week. Like, right there, that right now I feel like I want to go run and hide, because it seems so vulnerable. I'm not asking them to do anything. I'm being emotionally responsible and letting people know that I am not in a good space. We need to adjust our schedule, because right now I'm not in a good space. Yeah. Like, if the day hadn't turned around today, we would have canceled. But guess what? I have friends. I have people that see me. I have a team that sees me, that because I said, hey, I'm not in a good space, they did everything, all the things that, I do, they see me do for myself, and they showered me with that today. And you may not even known, like, damn, it was rough. Like, what was going on before this? And I think that's emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is reaching out when you need help, when you've done all you can do, and it's like, you know what? I'm not complaining. I really am just having a hard time. Let me make sure I let someone know. You're an adult now. Who is your emergency contact? And you should be on that list. you should be one of your emergency contacts, and then you should have other people that you know to reach out to, you know? So the difficulty of being emotionally mature, it's not easy. Sitting with the difficulties, I think that's the step. When it feels hard, but you know that this is what people like, that you've read, that you know that you should do, then do it.
Yeah, we had this idea though that everything that feels like tough in the moment is going to be something bad for you.
Yeah.
But in reality, those are usually the healthiest things for you. The things that maybe don't feel good at first, or you get the gratification on the back end.
Yeah.
Like if you were to exercise one day and it was challenging, if you did it one day, you don't get that much of it one day, but it's the consistent effort versus the things that feel like really, really good for you immediately.
Yeah.
Probably like foods that probably make you feel worse on the back end.
Yeah.
Heroin probably feels amazing
on the front end.
On the front end. I'm not saying like I could imagine that it feels amazing.
I'm pretty
on the
sure it's
front
popular
end.
for a reason. Like I believe y'all.
But
I'm not doubting that the shit is slapping. I just know.
Yeah, but long term,
Yeah.
So the things that have more of a delayed gratification
usually end up. The shortcut is that there is no shortcuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to know that when you're in alignment and you start changing your life and you're making those decisions, it's easier for the shortcuts to come to you. At the end of the day, if you want a cake, the eggs, the batter, the flour, all of that is getting mixed. In the beginning, you're mixing it yourself. But as you grow, you find other people who can mix it for you. The work is still being done, though. So just because the work may be getting easier for you does not mean that you're not doing the work. So emotional maturity is also understanding that you don't need to be working on yourself all the fucking time. Sometimes it's okay to just be. You are amazing. You are great right now. That's
an upper echelon of maturity though. And like the realization that, yo, this is actually easy. Like
if I commit to it.
If I pay attention to my feelings, then I can be more in tune with what's going on around me. And then you see trends, and then you realize, oh, this thing that I thought about that I said I was going to do, damn, oh, I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it really can be that.
It's now. Like, the time is now, you guys. Like, you're here. Like, there's an emotional maturity that comes with accepting good things. Like, this is the work paid off. And I think so often we think that we're not there yet. And we don't know how to work backwards. If you say you want cake, it's okay to focus on that. Just if you want to follow through, though, you're going to have to work backwards. Okay, well, what does a person that wants cake look like? You want to be a millionaire. Okay, what time does a millionaire wake up? How does a millionaire communicate? There's a difference between having a goal and having a dream. And I think that emotional maturity are going to bring those things to you quicker. When you can be accountable for when you need to change something, and being kinder to yourself to do that. So first of all, I love that conversation. It's so nice to have you, friend. Yeah. It's like our phone call, but like in my person. Content house. So great. Yeah, y'all hear this lackluster energy. Make sure that you watch the YouTube, because y'all gonna be like, dang, he don't even like her at all.
Damn, this is just my voice. Like, what did you want me to do about that?
I know, but it's just,
All right, so for the record, I love her. This is one of my best friends. This is family. Like, so if it don't sound like I love her, I do. Shit, what you want me to do?
Don't you just... Is this how all man-woman relationships sounds? It's like, why you sound like that? And they're like, I ain't sounding like nothing. What are you talking about? It's like, why you don't sound happy? I know.
When have you ever heard my voice be any different?
Never. I know. That's why it's so funny to me, because at the end of the day, I realize that I have friendships that allow me to be this person, and then they still love me, and that like makes me really happy.
Yeah, because
we do this conversation all the time. I'm like, why you sound like that? Aren't you happy? He's like, yes, I am happy.
So,
okay, let's move on. We got to get through the show. Hey, you guys, it's your host, Samia. And for those of you who didn't know, I'm also the CEO and founder of Sexual Essentials. One of my favorite parts about building that brand was creating a learning platform that has over 250 workshops, interviews, and so much more. Some of my favorite components are the sex position demos. Yes, you heard that right. Demos. They're featuring some people that you may already know. Good Moms Bad Choices has demonstrated some positions for us, as well as Dara. You remember her from our first episode. Those are some of my faves, as well as the lingam and yoni massages. These are great additions to add to your oral loving for your partner. Yes, I said oral loving. I'm trying to keep it clean, guys. Anyways, they are great additions and a great way to spice things up. Outside of our masterclasses, add one of these on to your normal routine and really wow your partner. Click the link below or in any of the links in our bio and sign up for our courses today. All right, now back to the show. All right, today's topic, we're talking about a couple things. So James is on this show. He is actually a doctor of physical therapy teach me the way.
Either way works.
All right, well, that's what he does.
And yeah, whatever.
And he has a business centered around helping people to align their lives the way that they want and make changes and become healthier. Can you talk to that point for a second before I introduce the topics that we're going to talk about today and how those tie in?
For sure. So the name of my business is Input Physical Therapy and Wellness. And we really just talked about what the business model is looking within. So much about our just healthcare system. Our world is like really, really passive. Like you don't do the work to heal yourself. Somebody fixes you. And that thing never works. We just talked about like the short-term things. So maybe you have something that hurts and you go get an injection for it. Maybe that injection helps it right now, but in the long term, it's anything when it comes to actual healing. I don't care if it's spiritual, physical, mental, the work has to be done within. So it's physical therapy with
in the form of that.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys, as another way to put this, when I told James I had saw a chiropractor for the first time, he got in full relax. He got in full career mode and he was like, what kind of chiropractor? Was they cracking or what they was doing? I said, well, there was some cracking, but they make you do physical therapy and stretches. If you want to get that part, they won't just do that. And he kind of relaxed a little bit. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, you be doing the workouts. But if something hurts, like he's going to give you like 3 stretches to do a day and be like, watch it change. Like, we're going to monitor it. But the thing is, nobody really wants to do that work because I don't want to remember to do this weird stretch 3 times a day. But then we show up next time and be like, it's still hurting. But you did not do what I asked you to do.
Hey, man.
And then you wondering why it don't work. And then now I have to put you on medicine. And at the end of the day, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so we neglect different parts of our body. And that's why by the time you're 60 or even 55, you got all these different medicines you have to take because you literally have not incorporated taking care of yourself every day. So his job is to change who you are so that you naturally do these things without it feeling like, oh, I got to do this stretch. You're doing that stretch because just like you wake up and brush your teeth. He's teaching you to make those type of changes.
That's a great analogy, like waking up and brush your teeth. If you were to go to your dentist and say, look, I know I haven't seen you in 6 months and I haven't cleaned my teeth since the last time I was here, but my teeth has been like hurt, like this one, like they all hurt and I don't know why. That's how people come to me.
But about their body and stretching and didn't do yoga. So
yes, just like you brush your teeth every day, anything that you want to heal, you have to spend time with it. It's
a little bit a day. And the thing is that you start brushing your teeth so early that you don't think about it by the time you're 30. But guess what? If you want to live to 60, if you're not stretching every day, you still can make a habit by starting today. So I get it. The shit be boring. Like, I'm hella with you. Like, a lot. I'm sorry, friend. At least you're here. That means I believe. But it be boring. Like, you be trying to remember to stretch. And now I got to go find a hip hop yoga class just to stretch. And then people like, well, you can just do it from home. Like, sometimes you don't want to, and sometimes you want to do it with someone else. And that's what his business is there for, that you can start off doing these things and creating routines with someone else to hold you accountable until you're able to do it on your own. And at the end of the day, that looks different for different people. So even if you're not doing it because you want to, do it because you want to look fine as fuck at 65, because you want to look like Angela Bassett. Like, I'm just saying, like,
Angela Bassett is putting the work in. You have seen her thighs. No disrespect to anyone. This is all love. I'm saying, but like she's
doing the work.
She's getting in frequent inputs.
Yeah. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you want something to be done, you're still gonna have to do it that many number of times. So you can either do it consistently, or sparingly, and it's gonna take you longer. But today we're talking about some of the major changes you made in your life to be more aligned, to be more healthy, and how those things were unconventional to the type of man you thought you were, the type of way you were raised, and also some of the stigmas around being a Black man and your masculinity. And I'm just gonna put out there, kind of like put some of those things out there to kind of just keep us on track to run through them. One of the reasons I brought you on was because as a Black heterosexual male, you are now in a poly relationship with a married woman. Your girlfriend is a married woman, which is breaking the stigma of not sharing your girl, or that people may say are like being the other partner. So many different things. And you know that I'm poly and have been for a long time. And I told you years ago, I said, James, you're poly.
And what do you know what my response was to that?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't do the work to figure it out. And so a lot of your relationships were ending the same way every time. And ultimately, you weren't really fulfilled, even when they were going for a long time. Like, I never saw the same happiness or the same version of you when you were with someone else. Which I'm pretty sure you could say the same thing about me, but
yeah, but the reason for that though is, all right, anytime that I was single, I would build habits about really build better self-care habits, getting closer to myself. The immediate time I get with somebody else, I start pouring into them, and I'm no longer taking care of myself.
Right.
So that was the pattern that I've had to break. And really, it's really just been a process of getting closer to self, really figuring out what makes me feel good and what doesn't, like how I want to live my life and how I don't. It was never a process of figuring out that I was poly. It was more so like, okay, is there having the idea of I haven't met the right person yet? Versus like, no, like this monogamy stuff just doesn't make sense to me. It's never made sense to me.
Yeah. And
I've had enough awareness to see how many monogamous relationships. I honestly don't know that many monogamous relationships.
That were.
Yeah,
they're not. No.
That actually
are actually monogamous.
Yeah, and I've never felt possessive about anyone. Like, the same way that you are one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I have another best friend. So do you.
Are you trying to hurt me?
Whatever. You have other best friends.
And it's fine.
It would be weird if you didn't. Like, and
it's like only loving one of your kids. Like, you got two. Like, why would you, just because I have another one, why would I have less room for the other? One of the biggest things that I think that this episode is about is, a lot of people think poly is like, oh, am I going to be okay with this or this sharing or whatever? Let's take the whole if you're okay with it off. Sometimes this perspective of poly is not about the sharing or any of that. It's not about other people the entire time. It's a
how can I share something that I don't possess? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't share my partner. I don't share her. She's a human being. And I'm really happy for her that she has another really healthy human being, that she also has positive love and frequent, it's frequent healthy energy. Why would I not want that for somebody I love? That would be like, to me, that would be the same way as looking at my brother and thinking, man, you in a relationship. Like, just spend time with me. You don't want to hang out with your little brother? That's weird. That's weird.
But I think that I think my perspective of saying share is because I've always loved poly for the community. My perspective was always getting the things that I need regardless, whether that's resources or love or whatever. But what I realized the key to healthy monogamy, I mean, not healthy monogamy, any relationship, healthy monogamy or polyamory is figuring out what relationships works with your best self. And what I saw is that you dealt with being alone a lot, especially because of your career and education choices. And when you started healing and tending to that part of you, I felt that it opened you up and positioned you where you needed to be to find the love that was meant for you. And then when I saw you in that type of love, it wasn't because you was like, okay, I finally decided to be poly. It was that you were able to attract the thing that was within you, which was all these healthy things. So I want to talk to some of the toxic habits that you had to break, which toxic doesn't necessarily mean that you did to someone else or you was, you know what I'm saying? You could just have toxic behaviors to yourself. A lot of y'all think because y'all not cheating on nobody or playing and got no hoes that you're not toxic. It's other things that can make you toxic. So what are some of the things that you had to break? And then what are some new habits that you had to instill or new boundaries? What was your relationship with yourself like creating boundaries as a man?
I was consistently finding ways to ignore or mute my inner dialogue. So, I love music.
Of course.
I've realized that I've had an unhealthy relationship with music because as empathetic as me and you both are, like we're feelers, I was using music to feel somebody else's energy. They had expressed, I love really, really personal music. So I'm listening to other people express their deepest thoughts and I'm getting the hormonal release from it, but I'm not doing it for myself. So like I've
it
literally
made you feel like you were being deep or vulnerable, but it really wasn't. It was really, I just love deep, sensitive music, but really it's because I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
I gotta talk.
And that's some yeah. So
And
I've had to,
and it's really letting other people hear you more than also talking.
yeah, I've had to distance myself from music. You would be surprised. Like,
That's crazy.
Can I say a common name on your show?
Sure.
Gigi got me listening to chakra chants. Like, I have. Oh, I call it. That's like a few things for you.
This was y'all. Y'all gotta watch the visuals. He's being funny because y'all know Gigi is my astrologer.
Okay, this is why she says share. But I'm like, nah,
Look here, we do all deal with our own poly things. And you know what's so crazy is that I've found other people that one of the beautiful things about being poly is that people aren't going to try to change you. They're going to love you through what you're saying is real for you. It's difficult for me to share. It doesn't mean that I don't want to. Just because I choose a life of having a village and community and sharing resources doesn't mean that sometimes it's not difficult to do so.
It's difficult for you. You always do it.
And I always do it.
You always do it.
And that's
you
the
always
thing. I think a lot of times we think that because something is difficult, we have to stop. And I'm telling you, fuck yeah, that shit difficult. I mean, we're about to keep going, but you goddamn right. Like, I'm not with the toxic positivity thing. Like, this shit fucking sucks. But all right, get your ass up now. Let's go. And that's what I love about my poly partners, that even Gigi are just, sharing my things with others. Like, it's so crazy that everything I've learned, I immediately share with others, right? Because it's so difficult for me to share, I share more. That is how I do. I share more because the more that I share, the more that I get the good feeling back. And it's like, oh, okay. So I'm not without anything because I got a feeling of gratitude or gratefulness simply because I gave to you. And so that was hella worth it. Okay. It's like going down the slide. It's fun as hell, but my stomach gonna drop every time, but I'm still gonna do it because it's still, at the end of the day, it still came out better. And so, I shared one of my resources and told James about my astrologist and changing my life and her being the amazing person that she is. They are working together now, which is, again, another beautiful thing about poly is that even I was like, dang, y'all sharing each other. And they was like, we know you hate it. And gave me a hug about it. I mean, they still gonna do it. You know what I mean? And that's like a funny, like lighthearted story, but love is the same way. Sometimes you maybe like, dang, I want to go date with my partner today, and they may have a date with someone else. You may not love it in that moment, but you still love it for them. Like, there's both.
I'm gonna say her name one more time. Something that Gigi said the first time me and her
I
talked.
ain't never heard somebody Gigi said me about my Gigi.
Hey, you gonna have to come to the crib, and cause me and mine, Gigi said, yeah. So, she said, and this was like, I think I had just met my lady, very, very, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks prior to talking to Gigi for the first time, and she said that one thing I love about the poly life is you learn so much about yourself. And I didn't understand that at the moment, but like moments like that, you do. You realize what the benefit, whatever you feel, is nothing about your partner. It's something about you.
Every time. But that lesson has offered me real healing and real forgiveness. And when I deal with or talk about like my parents, this show is always going to go back, you guys. This show is about the things that I've needed to heal and the things that I've used. So I will keep repeating it 1,000 times, but this is why I'm okay. When I finally realized what this is about, and, just like a reflection of the facts and the story that's been given. Okay, this ain't about them though. What is this about you? It gave me full permission to step into my purpose. Okay, with, owning it for myself, not sharing anything, but because this is what I need. I'm a person that needs, polyamory gives me a perfect excuse to be exactly who I am. Every partner that you bring in is for a certain portion of you. So you might have a main partner, which you may live with or share a home with or have children with. And then you may have a different partner that you may not do those things, but they support this part of you. Or if you work with someone, and you might want to work with someone in your career where like we share the same path. Like, there are different connections you have with different people. And when you're alone, you can make that list and figure out, what do I need to be? You can have 100% of what you want in this life. So you might date someone that gives you 70% of the things that you want. But then you might have 2 other partners that make up 15 and 15. But it's about balancing your routine, knowing your schedule, having boundaries. Because if you talking to every woman that approach you, how you gonna ever have time for these things? Like,
that was the problem.
You were talking to just
okay, nah, I mean,
sorry.
Yeah, nah, but yeah.
You so silly.
Continue. You were saying. Yo, I just want to tell myself, I want to get this off of my chest.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I only gave you one thing, one of my unhealthy habits that I've had to get away from. My unhealthy relationship with music.
Okay.
The women part.
Okay.
Spending time with women I didn't like. Just like, oh, you supposed to. It's weird.
That
is so
really
weird. It's so weird to grow up and think, oh, every time I go out of town, I'm supposed to take some rubbers because this trip.
Because that mean I gotta like give dick. Wait, what?
You said get what?
You think what? If you go out of town, I gotta give dick in each city?
You didn't grow up like that? Oh, okay.
I mean, I make that choice now. Like, ooh, if I go to this city, I would love to have some sex, but not like I gotta give up some pussy to put my print down in this city. What?
We've grown.
When you talk to men, like other men, that's what they be like. They like instead of asking you like what sites you went and saw, they be like, what pussy you got? Tell me more.
You don't think you didn't know that was a thing?
I mean, I asked my friends if you fucked because I mean, I'm happy for you if you caught a nut, but not like you ain't give out no pussy. Like,
so that's something I've grown out of. Something else, as healthy as you know me to be, unhealthy relationship with food. Like
we talked about,
right,
yes.
But like doing it in a vengeful way. So like, yeah, most of the days, no, but when I do it, it's disgusting. And what am I doing this for? So like all the moments that feel like hard to not do those things have all been learning experiences, and then finding other ways to other things I should be doing with that time.
Okay. How did you come to I know that you're not a person that really cares what other people think about you. I know that. not in a way that you've never not gonna be yourself. One thing I know about you is that you're gonna always pick you.
I care about what people think about me, but I have to care more about what makes me feel good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I preface the statement with that because I could ask you, how do you deal with the difficulties of being a, I don't know, maybe like a type A man, or what like the culture says it's a alpha male. Gal, it's so many quotations going on right now. Please make sure you're watching the visuals on YouTube. When I say alpha males, for lack of a better word, or masculine, what's been tied to masculinity, how, if at all, did you have to deal with any of those thoughts? But because as of right now, your main partner has a, I'm not sure what term. I know everyone uses different terms and how they relate. I know that I'm a main partner party. I am a main.
If you're popping, you don't stop. Rocking to the bang bang boogie, the up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. You were saying?
I am a main poly type person, which means for me, I'm comfortable with sharing a child, a mortgage. Not saying that I won't share like investments or business or things like that, but I don't want to have my intention, or what I'm comfortable with as of now, is not to purposely have kids with multiple partners. I know my capacity. My capacity is I want a main partner, and then I want other relationships that may be different. Maybe it's a partner that I have within work, or maybe we travel together, but different things like that fill in time, that maybe I don't have to see them every day, but maybe I see them once every 2 weeks and we take a trip for a weekend. Like, I'm okay with smaller relationships that feed different parts of me. My reason for being poly is because I just want 100% of everything I want. If I was to find one person that had all the 100% I wanted in a partner, I would just date one person. But I've never seen that to be true, and I don't think that means that it's less than. I just believe in getting everything I want in this life. If that means multiple partners to get it, that's what I'm going to do. And myself being one of my main partners. So there's a certain part of things that I want and give myself that can only come from me. So I love that part. But as a man, as that type of man, were there any difficulties, or is there anything you'd like to say for other men that may be struggling with feeling like you may be less of a man, or these type of things, like this toxic masculinity that you guys were raised with without grace and patience and like love? Are there any points you'd like to talk to help, someone that may be struggling with that?
I mean, I guess do what feels right to you. So like, what feels right to me, the last 3 relationships I've been in, all of these women that you've met, I've told you this before, I hope. I've literally told all 3 of them, I wish I could say the names right now. I've literally told all 3 of them, hey, if you ever out and you like come across some energy that you enjoy, please don't stop yourself from going forward with it based off of me. Like, no, if it feels right, do it. So that's just who I naturally am. That's what feels right to me. I want my partner to have that same freedom. And I want to have that same freedom for myself. So if another man feels that way, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
If you feel another way, that's what you should maybe do. But whatever you're doing, making sure that you're doing it for what feels right for you, and not for the sake of what you think somebody else might think about it.
Okay. As well as you have to be able to reciprocate or provide that same support that you're asking for. So if you're saying something feels good for you, a lot of men don't have a problem with having multiple women or even any of that, but they do have a problem with their main partner also having other partners that are men. They're like, oh, you can have a girlfriend, little girlfriends or whatever. But acting as if, okay, there are a lot of men that could totally get with what you're saying right now. They're like, yeah, if I need more women, cool. I got you, brother. And then so his wife say, great, babe, because I need more men. Now it's like, wait, hold on, what?
Right. And that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to you. I can't really speak for it, though. If a man feels that way, it literally makes no sense to me.
You just use logic. You said I'm poly off of logic.
It doesn't, yeah.
Because this don't make sense.
But like, you have to do,
it don't make sense.
Yeah, I can only do what makes sense to me.
Yeah.
If that's food, if that's sleep, if that's exercise, if what any relationship, a relationship is a relationship.
Yeah.
You have a relationship with food. You have a relationship with your sleep patterns. You have a relationship with anything outside of yourself included. Right. So
you have to treat everything as its own relationship.
Yeah.
But people are so quick to possess their partners. That's really what we're talking about, possessing your partner. And I don't think that people understand this is not an ad to turn people poly. This is not a you should be poly ad. We're saying that everyone is poly. Okay? You do share relationships, all relationships, whether they are sexual or not. If your partner has a friend, you are sharing them in a relationship. They're just not in a sexual one. And so so it's weird to say, okay, you can have relationships with all people except other men. See, I'm sharing. Like, it'd be like, what? Like, or you can have all relationships with all types, but you can't do this or nitpick or things like that as if sex with only one person is the only thing that can be good. We're saying two things can be true. If sex with one person is all you need, then that's all you should have. If you need, but we're saying that those should be healthy relationships, though. These should still all be healthy relationships. Polyamory is not an excuse to date hella shitty people.
It's whatever you make it. Like for us, our poly it's really, really a healthy thing. It's about self-empowerment, and I really wish that was everybody's idea of it.
It's so difficult to find.
It's so many just because you poly, yeah.
I dated a couple, and it is so crazy in my mind because, like, you know how like 1 minute you can know somebody, and you don't see them as often, right? Because they had a family, they had children. Like, I have a child, I have a business, so you're not seeing them all the time. So sometimes it takes time to see certain things. I dated a couple, which is sometimes one of the most traumatic things to do as a single woman. And they seemed pretty healed and okay and safe. And they did a lot for me energetically and growth-wise, as far as like recognizing certain things in myself that I needed to change. Like, they were proof that I needed to change some things. A great time, though. Don't get me wrong. A great time for what it was. I appreciate the role that it played in my life. But we broke up because one of their other partners, like, did some grimy shit. Like, I was just so confused. I was like, wait, y'all, like, allow that? Like, you're okay with that? Like, you're going to, and not because it's like, oh, well, how are you going to punish the person? No, you want to keep that person as a partner and they doing grimy shit. Like, this is not a healthy relationship for your partnership. Like, y'all are dating.
It's just nasty.
Yeah, like, why would you even date this person if you were single or monogamous or one-on-one? I'm saying that you ain't got all tens in your hand. Like, being poly is not an excuse to date somebody that you're not compatible with. It's not an excuse to date somebody that don't have their shit together. If you're dating poly people, it's very difficult to have 20 partners because it's hard to find one person that's a good person.
Poly don't mean you just out here slanging
you laxing with a lot of people think that poly people be out here just they doing all this shit. First of all, you have to actually be healthy enough to attract one person. A lot of y'all can't get one person, let alone actually date multiple healthy people.
And the more you become aware of your own energy, you don't. Here's a pattern I realize. Every time I laid down with a woman that I really didn't like, I felt horrible afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I would do all the things.
It doesn't really feel like consent.
Ooh.
And
consent for myself.
And also, to be honest, the way I view consent, and this is not to be like in a malicious or like you violated someone. What I realize is we have a responsibility to tell the truth. I should tell you, actually, I don't like you very much, but I want someone in my bed, and let you decide if that's okay for you, if you still want to be there. Some of us tell people, oh, I really like you, or mislead people, or don't. We're not clear. But also, that's where boundaries come in. If that woman does not figure out what, a man that's interested in her actually looks like, then you'll accept anything when people are making it very clear they're not interested in you.
Yeah, and I think we hear that part, speaking to the woman in that way often. It's the same thing for us, us men. Like, notice how you feel after. All the excitement they're doing, oh, it's amazing. Afterwards, if you feel like, man, I wish I would have just like went to
You
sleep.
could have kept the energy for yourself.
Yeah.
But also, it's men. I think one of the sexiest thing about a man is like when he's picky. I realize there is nothing that's more unattractive than a man that gives himself to anybody, because like in this world, finding a great man is so difficult. And finding a great person is difficult. And I don't think men sometimes even think of themselves as people. And it's like, people value you. You're not just dick. You're not just sex. Like,
hallelujah.
you know, like, I don't think people talk to the traits of men that have nothing to do with their masculinity sometimes. And so they only work on the masculine parts of themselves and not the feminine parts of themselves.
And telling a woman, no, you cannot have none of this, it is so much fun. If you've never tried it, like, please try it as soon as you possibly can.
You do have to tell somebody no, because, and y'all, if you know that you masculine, you know, like, but also that's because women will demonize when a man chooses no. Like, oh, what's wrong with you? You gay, you this. If you're gay, you would just be gay.
The type of woman that you will attract if you consistently say no in situations where you should, it's amazing. Like, the energy that finds you is amazing.
I think people sometimes are confused by me because they're like, wait, she has this entire sex business and then she telling me to wait. I'm not telling you to wait on shit. I would love to fuck my brains out every single motherfucking day if I could. If everybody was healthy, I would have all the sex. I would. This is not about nobody else. This is about me. You know what I'm saying? If this person isn't good for me, the answer is no. That's how it works. And if this person is good for me, the answer is yes. If you know yourself, really know yourself, even though I'm willing and open to date multiple people, I know that doesn't mean everybody. And I know that I would be blessed in this life just to even have 2 partners. And people be like, that's too much. In a world of 7 billion people, me having 2 people is too much. I'm aware of who I am and what I need. So your confidence just has to be on 100. And more than confidence, your self-love. I am doing what's best for me to get the most out of this life while I'm here. If that means that I have to have 2 partners, then okay. Because like, even my polyamory thinking is why my co-parenting relationship is so good. Mm-hmm. Like, we were at his birthday party and my ex-husband's wife was like, oh my gosh, I was talking, they were at their basketball game and she overheard Trey and one of his friends talking, and the kid was like, is that your mom? And he was like, no, that's my bonus mom. And then he was like, what's a bonus mom? He's like, well, you just get one. He was like, I have a mom, I have a dad, I have a grandpa, and I have a bonus mom, and they all love me. And the kid was like, oh man, I want a bonus mom. And and it's like, the fact that she was even coming to tell me that she felt appreciated being like his bonus mom was great. Like, I can't take that from her. It's difficult raising a child. As long as you love my child, that has nothing to do with that man not being for me. Like, village, like, it makes, what do I have to be mad about? Okay, so now you're a part of the village. Yeah. It may not be in the same capacities. I may not be married to him anymore, but he's still in my village because that is my son's dad. I am working with whoever is on this team to make sure you're good. Yeah. Because our decisions have nothing to do with what we owe him. So for me, polyamory is about having good relationships, even with, even if it doesn't look the way that you thought. Like, it's about having good relationships and being the things you need.
Yeah. The village part, in the same way that my brother has a very healthy relationship and I get so much loving energy from his lady. I learned things just from talking to her, from spending time with her. In that same way, my partner's husband, just being around that energy, in some areas where I'm not as gifted, things aren't as natural for me, he has some very positive qualities that I can absorb just by being in that field. So the village part is a part of poly that I didn't even know that I would get, but
the community.
Yeah,
you went to
it's so healthy.
My ex-husband's proposal. Like, you literally, I'm just saying that you've created relationships.
I texted him today too.
You did? Oh,
well, I you know what I mean? I saw baby boy, and so I was like, yeah.
Hey, get big. Like it was literally crazy. I had my ex-husband, I had a current boyfriend, and then I had my very first boyfriend of my life, who's now my best friend, all in one room. Like, oh, they here? What? Say less. Like, and people like, that's crazy. It's like we're just being honest about who we are. So for the people that feel like you have to be poly because that's the only way you're gonna have sex, that doesn't mean you have to do it in a grimy way. Poly allows you to have non-sexual relationships. And if you have a relationship with someone that maybe started off sexual, but you just don't feel very sexual with that person anymore, that doesn't mean that you want the relationship to end. A lot of times we tie wanting to have sex with someone as a level of measuring the relationship. So many asexual women fall in love with very sexual men. That if someone wants you, you have to figure out what works for you guys. And polyamory allows everyone to be who they are because you're not limited to one partner. Just because you can't do it for me doesn't mean that I don't deserve it.
Can I ask you a question? It's a little off topic.
All right.
All right. So as a man, I'll go on dates, right? And I may have an interaction with a woman that I enjoy, but I don't want you to touch me. Like, I don't want to be physical with you, but this is good energy. How does a man tell a woman, I guess that, like,
what you're trying to say right there?
Yeah, how do you say it
how
in a
would
way,
I receive it?
knowing that she wants the sexual energy from you? How do you say that without,
Okay, so how do you say that without sounding crazy or being rude or whatever? I think you be honest. Hey, I want to make sure that this is clear because I understand sexuality is a vulnerable thing. I think that you're a beautiful woman.
Go ahead.
Is she not a beautiful woman?
Everybody is their version. Everybody's beautiful.
I thought you was correcting me like, I don't think that part. Okay, what's wrong?
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Just readjusting.
Okay, so I would tell her, I think that you're a beautiful woman, but in full transparency, I am a polyamorous man, which means that I'm able to have multiple relationships with different type of people, and those look different types of ways. My current partner right now is X, Y, and Z, and she's a married woman, and I have a great friendship with, I have a good friendship or growing friendship with her husband, platonically, and I'm currently dating. But it does take me a while before I decide to get intimate with someone. Because I am poly, I date around more people than usual, and personally for me, I take that as a very serious thing. You could be amazing this week, and the sex could be amazing this week, but I could meet another woman next week, and it could be amazing. I need more to know if I really want to have sex with someone because I want to be present when we have sex. And if I'm having sex with too many women, I can't really show up and be the pleaser that I've trained myself to be. So if I want to show up fully for you, I have to make sure that's really what I want. And because I'm poly, I date more than one person. And so I'm making sure I'm being responsible about my energy. So if you want to sleep with me, you have to understand that that's a process. And if you can't handle that, I totally understand. But I just want to be transparent with you so that you can have all of the information. And we're not arguing in a couple weeks and you're saying I don't like you simply because I haven't tried to have sex with you.
So that's way healthier than just like stopping replying to a text message. Just a question.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, that sounds healthy.
Maybe
I'm not saying that.
A little bit more. That's the truth. And I think the difficulty is that a lot of us don't know how to tell the truth without being rude or harsh or unkind. I was in a meeting, like a kinked up ATL, the kinked up event that Gigi had. It was a workshop, and a woman was telling her experience of her becoming poly because she no longer wanted to have sex with her husband. And she felt like she was violating herself every time she had sex with him simply because she didn't want to. He wasn't making her. Her body simply just didn't desire to share that type of affection with him anymore. But she had met someone else later down the line, and the desire for sex came back. She never wanted to leave her husband. She wanted to have a healthy relationship, but at the end of the day, if that's your truth, that you don't want to have sex with that person anymore, but you still want to do all the other things, you're not being toxic, you're not being rude, you're not being resentful, but the truth is, I just don't desire sex. Just like when women get in postpartum. Sometimes they don't desire sex, but you're way more close and intimate with them at that time because that's more of what they need. Why do we villainize one feeling when it's just because we're the center of that thing?
Oh, something else that me and you both needed to learn that we are learning now is how we're so touchy individuals. You know what I'm saying? When we choose to be, how do you
Ah,
how do you learn how to have
you're
intimacy
saying a lot
without
of
it
business.
being?
I think it's time for us to get out of here.
No, I want to tell them the rest.
Physical touch, I agree, is something that I admit that I really like. It also still icks me out sometimes. But when you like it and it's good, it's really good and it makes you want to ask for more and stuff. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah. I didn't really want all of that. So you got
I
like,
was just acknowledging
okay,
my truth. I was going to run away from it,
okay,
doing the emotional maturity part.
yep, me
Ooh,
too.
boom, boom. You see how we brought it all back?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we got to wrap up and get out of here because we had our time. Hey, you guys, it's your host, Samia. If you're enjoying the topics over here, honestly, I think you'd love the topics over on my learning platform. I have some private interviews over there with some amazing guests. I've interviewed Mr. Marcus, yes, that's the porn star, Passion Jones, who brought on her husband and her boyfriend, and even had some girls' night conversations with Medina from Cocktails as well as Mila from Good Moms Bad Choices. That conversation was amazing. We did some examples of our dirty talk, and let's just say you need to check it out. Don't just take my word for it. Make sure that you click the link below and sign up today. There are over 250 workshops, classes, interviews, and so much more. All right, now back to the show. All right, so I love you, friend.
I love you too, friend.
All right, it was so great to have our normal phone conversation in front of everybody.
A whole lot more
Loosened
lights
up.
than usual.
It's always like camera action on us. We're superstars. We're Aries. I can't believe I done brought you into astrology. It's so cool. All right. Today's advice segment of the show is coming from the episode Staying in Line with the Male Perspective. And the advice is to learn to give your partner a lingam massage. A lingam is a tantric word for sex. So today's advice is about a sexual practice that is intimate without actually having intercourse. Because we're talking about polyamory and not all relationships being sexual, you have to understand there are different levels to sexuality. And a lot of us forget about the foreplay or all the different things that we can do before we decide to start having sex. So if you would like to learn how to do one of these massages, lingam is the tantric word for dick, y'all, if anybody wasn't clear about that. If you want to learn how to give a dick massage, you can learn how to do so on my Patreon. So click the link below. There are over 250 workshops, classes, demos, and so many other things.
Baby, hit the link, all right? Can you write that down? I don't. Okay.
I don't see it writing.
Can you send it to me? I want to make sure.
I got you. Yes. And there is also a yoni massage on there, you guys. Yoni is the Sanskrit word for vagina, pussy, all of that good stuff. So make sure that you check that out. The Patreon is only $15 a month, you guys. And also while you guys are on there, make sure that you check out the What Men Want panel. There's the one from 2022, and then there's also the one from 2023, where James was also a panelist. So you can check him out there, and all of his information will be below, website, Instagram, and all of that information. And then the last part of our show is going to be the spiritual tip of the day. And so I had you pick a tarot card at the beginning of the episode. And the spiritual tip of the day is just about teaching people like what we're talking about when all these people are talking about this energy or crystals and astrology and taking these classes and why being an Aries matter and things like that. We just want you to have the information so you can accurately decide if you want to be a part of the conversation or you want to use that particular tool. And a lot of people talk about it because they don't understand it. And there's a level of healing that is hiding in our spirituality. You can be spiritual and be religious. Make sure that you tend to all the parts of you, especially if you're looking for more when it comes to healing. So I thought, why not just add one more spiritual thing to your plate today? I really love the fact that you trust me enough to hear me out and really consider like polyamory and how it affects you and just like kind of committing to, taking that in fully. I appreciate that you heard me on the astrology and, took time to just say, let me
I
look into
trust
what
you.
thank you for trusting me. I know that that's a huge thing. And so thank all of you for trusting me, the ones who listen to something on the show and you try it out on your own time. Like, that means a lot. I appreciate that. So we're going to get up out of here. We both pulled tarot cards. What was your card?
The Page of Swords.
Okay. Page of Swords. And I pulled the High Priestess. So I asked James to pick a card, just the card that he felt like he was supposed to pull. What did I say? What's coming for you, or something like that.
Next?
What's next? And so he pulled the Page of Swords. The key words for this are curiosity, restlessness, mental energy. The Page of Swords represents someone embarking on a new idea and a mental adventure, full of enthusiasm and good cheer. This person is eager to share and discuss their thoughts and plans for what can be. The swords represents intellect, logic, communication, conflict and analysis. And the pages is the inner child or explorer, constantly learning, eager, open-minded, and curious. They crave representations of their suit that they can grasp and feel. How you feel about that? How you feel? Pretty accurate? Or?
That is spot on. So can I take this home with me? How does this work?
No.
Okay.
It's my card.
Yeah, it's all yours. Don't even worry about it.
You could be poly and not want to share. I seen you the link, though, from Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you just take my card?
Read your card. What's the other card?
All right. So my card is the High Priestess. And I asked myself the same question that I asked James. And it stands for, the keywords were intuition, unconscious, inner voice. To direct your will outward, one must also be able to understand one's internal world. The High Priestess is the guardian of the unconscious and beckons the traveler to the world within. And it is a major arcana card, which the major arcana is 22 cards. They're the main cards of the deck. So whenever you pull one of these cards, it signifies like a life change. So the swords, the other suits of the deck talk about a certain part of your life, right? And the major arcana is talking about shifting into a different portion of life altogether that has its new, things. So 22 cards, collectively known as the Fool's Journey, represents important milestones in the journey of life, often signal deep shifts and major changes in the way that you have been approaching life. And I felt like that was pretty spot on because I've been challenged, pulled, twisted, stretched, and more fulfilled than I have ever been in my life. And so I don't feel like those type of feelings come without something, and a lot of difficult things have come from it, but I truly believe that something amazing is about to happen in my life. So that's the card that I pulled.
I love it.
All right, so we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate you, friend. I love you.
I love you too.
Very proud of you. Tell the folks where they can find you, or I will put it below.
You can put that below.
I figured. That would be the response. I understand.
I'm still working on this.
I know, but I'm so you did it.
You have me in front of like cameras.
Lights
right
and camera twice. That was twice. You did the other episode with Marcus. It's just so great to pull people out of their comfort zone and let them be amazing. Just share them with the world. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you didn't notice, today we're shooting at the Something Extraordinary Content House in the Tulum room. I'm super excited about this room, designed by Naya Abdallah. Make sure that you click the links below for renting, whether it's for podcasts, photo shoots, producing, film, all types of things, commercial ads, all of that. So check us out. We're 15 minutes from the Atlanta airport. And we will see you next time. Bye.